Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of From the Top, presented by Armina Stone. I'm Celina, and look who I have with me. This is a big deal, everybody. This is Jim Heeb, the CEO of the Natural Stone Institute, and you're here in Pittsburgh.
You know, here's the hard part about being in Pittsburgh is I drove over from Cleveland, and we're not going to talk about football today, but we're going to talk about natural stone.
That is perfectly fine with me, Jim.
Well, and I just have to be totally honest to you, is the hardest thing for me as a father was watching my youngest son become a Steelers fan. So that was really tough. But let's talk about natural stone.
I love your son already. Have you always lived in that area?
Born and raised in South Dakota.
Oh, okay.
And came to Ohio to go to graduate school, and then met the prettiest girl. And they're going to bury me in Ohio because that's where my love is.
Yep. So that's where the Natural Stone Institute is. Tell us more about it. And I mean, you've been there for a long time. You've been the CEO there for many, many years. So what is the Natural Stone Institute?
You know, I think anyone that's listening in, regardless of what vocation they have, whether it's somebody that's a TV personality like you, or a doctor or a lawyer or a plumber, most everyone knows that most industries have a trade association that represents them. And so I just happen to be very blessed and honored to run the Natural Stone Institute, which is the leading trade association around the world for natural stone. And short drive to come over to see our friends here, but we do have members in over 50 countries.
That's unbelievable. So you're really international.
We are an international trade association with about 85% of our membership here in North America. So we are North America centric, but proud to have members from all over the world.
So what does a member get out of being a member at the Natural Stone Institute?
You know, I think the biggest thing about why an individual or a company would join any trade association is to help them become a much more successful company. So we're in the business of helping our members keep their employees safe. We're in the business of helping them save money. We're in the business of helping them network and build their network of industry professionals. But we also recognize that our members that are stone companies like Armina Stone is that they're serving architects and designers, they're selling to consumers. So we have a lot of resources to help companies like this one serve their client base.
Mm-hmm. So I got to ask right off the bat, before we talk more about the Natural Stone Institute.
We're not going to talk about the Steelers.
Not today.
Good,
we'll
good.
save that for next time, because I know they're going to have a great season coming up. But anyways, what do you think of our showroom here in Cranberry Township? This is your first time walking in. It's massive. What are your thoughts about it and all the natural stone that we have here?
Well, and I got to be totally honest that when I was asked to help with a podcast, because I've done podcasts, okay?
Yeah.
But when I thought of a podcast, I thought of an audio podcast.
Oh, no.
And so I thought, well, I could just call in. But I'll tell you what, the team here said this is a one of a kind showroom. Mm-hmm. It's impressive, it's clean, it's welcoming. And I actually arrived early, unannounced that I was going to be here. And I walked in and I said, you know, this was worth the 2-hour drive to get here. No doubt.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. And we have so many different selections. I mean, it's overwhelming when you come in here and you may not know which style you want to go with. But when it comes to natural stone, there are so many different options. What do people really need to know?
First of all, there is no bad natural stone.
I agree.
I think, you know, you gotta remember that with natural stone, it's all about the beauty. It's about the durability. You know, this stone that we are putting our hands on, this is a one of a kind. And so there's no bad natural stone, but consumers and fabricators, interior designers, they just need to educate themselves about what's the difference between this stone and that stone, and what's the right application. And the beauty here is that the sales team here, the management team here, just like any other stone company, will guide the consumer through their selection. And, you asked about my first impressions when I walked in. Obviously I've been to hundreds of stone companies in multiple countries, and you do have a sense of a feeling about what's this company about. First impressions are a big deal. And when you think about, this company wants to have a good first impression with everyone in the Pittsburgh market. When you walk in, you can tell if this is a company that you want to consider doing business with.
Yeah. Sometimes it's hard for me to even believe if we do a lot of fun videos with clients. They're called our Mina Stone Stories. So I get to go in to these beautiful homes to see the beautiful stones that they have selected. It's hard to believe that it comes from the earth, this natural stone. I mean, we see our owner, Emre Bosman. He's traveling all over the world to all of these different countries, going into quarries. I mean, it's literally coming from the earth. That's crazy to me.
It shouldn't be crazy.
It's crazy.
It shouldn't be crazy because, first and foremost, you said at the intro that I've been with the Natural Stone Institute a long time. I thought I had the funnest job. I'm learning a little bit more about you. I think you have the funnest job out there, but
it is pretty fun.
Listen, we need to remember that natural is important, and consumers, and especially when you think about the architects and the designers, the kitchen and bath professionals that are out there, they are guiding their clients through a selection process. Mm-hmm. Natural means something. Sustainable building means something. Having sustainable products in your home means something. And I think we're realizing more and more, especially with I think about my sons who are in their early 20s. Sustainable building products means a lot more to that generation, maybe much more so than it does to mine. But I think that natural stone is the route to go, and your fabricator, your stone distributor, whoever you're working with, will help you guide through it. If you want natural stone in your home, there's a price point that you can get it in your home. The myths out there that it's hard to care for or it costs too much, that's a bunch of marketing baloney. Mm-hmm. And baloney is a technical term. So, you know what? If you want natural stone, you can have it. I mentioned to Emma earlier, he's not a fabricator.
No.
He's not an installer. He's not a stone distributor. He's in the business of helping individuals' dreams come true. And if you have dreamt about wanting natural stone in your home, it is possible. And obviously, I'm the guest here. You're the host. You can't go wrong with natural stone.
I couldn't agree more. Well, Jim, I have to ask you now, what's in your home?
So I grew up in South Dakota. So I have stone from South Dakota in my home.
Oh, that's so beautiful. That's neat.
We also have, I live about 5 miles from the sandstone region of Ohio. And so there's some sandstone outside of my home as well. So granite from South Dakota and sandstone from Ohio.
That's really neat, though.
And then lots of tchotchkes from the quarries that I've been to. And, I'm one of those folks that I'm visiting a quarry and I'll ask first, but if there's a small little chip laying on the ground, I pick it up, I put it in my pocket, and I've got
that is cool.
I've got a whole end table in my office of just stone from all over the world.
Where has been some of your top places that you've been?
Well, I'll tell you, obviously Italy is amazing. The stones coming out of Brazil are amazing. I was last October in Emre's home country of Turkey and just fell in love with it. So I think the thing that's amazing about our industry, the stone is part of it. But the other part that you need to remember about this industry is the relationships that you can build with people. Any industry, the strongest companies are those that are building strong relationships. And this is very much a relationship building business. And one of the things that I'm impressed about Mina Stone is the relationships that Emory brought to this company. He knows suppliers from around the country, and we had lunch today. And I've known about this company for some time, but probably had the most intense, sincere, genuine conversation with the ownership team here that I've ever had. Is he would name somebody in the industry and I knew that person, or I would name somebody and he knew that person. So, recognize that, yes, the stone is part of our industry, but the relationships are the other part that make the natural stone industry so special.
Oh, yeah. And I'm sure with all the people that you deal with, and even with your members too, the members from all over the world, that's a huge way to network and meet people and keep those relationships in this industry.
Absolutely. And, it's not only the relationships within this industry, but we're also building relationships with the design community. Because at the end of the day, many folks that maybe aren't comfortable with the selection of a building product, they're turning to their salesperson or they're turning to the designer that's guiding the design. And so it's important that we as an industry build a relationship with the design community as well. And that's why, I mentioned, what is it that we do? We do help our members keep their employees safe. We do provide technical support. We help them build their network, but we also give them the educational tools so that they can go out and educate the architects and designers about natural stone. And then, of course, there's the added bonus of, most of the designers are members of their industry trade association, whether it's ASID or NKBA or AIA, and they're also wanting credit for to keep their licenses. So we help our members give classes so that the designers can also get credit for those classes.
That's what I wanted to ask you. How important is the education part of this?
I mean, that's one of the primary pillars of what we do. We help educate the design community. We help educate the stone contractors, the fabricators that are out there. And so education, promotion, standards, helping you build your network is what trade associations do. And, I believe that, we're one of the best out there that does it, and very proud of the work that our team has done. And it's a team of great staff, great volunteer leaders, and very fortunate to be, advocating natural stone.
Where do you see the future of this industry going?
I think, there will always be competing products. Ford's going to be competing with the Chevy, going to be competing with the Volvo, Mercedes, and so forth. They're always going to be competing products. But I think there's something special about the genuine nature of the product. So we're not going to run into a lack of abundance of stone. There's going to be stones for thousands of years. And the beautiful thing too about, I mentioned sustainability a little bit earlier. Yes, we are taking stone from the ground, but also our members that are quarrying stone are taking good care of the earth. When they're done with the deposit, they're going back in and doing creative things, planting forest in that area. There's some tremendous stories about how quarries became community parks and lakes and fishing ponds and so forth. So when we use the word sustainable, that has everything to do not only with the product, but also with the business practices of our members.
Yeah, absolutely. And quickly, because I think this is interesting too, the stone of the year. What is the stone of the year for 2022?
Yeah, so actually it's the stone of the year this year for the Natural Stone Institute is a beautiful white marble from Vermont.
Oh.
And one of the things that we do every other year is this year it was a domestically produced stone. Next year, it'll be a stone from outside of the United States. So we alternate from year to year, U.S. international. But yes, and it's not surprising that the company that stepped up and said, we want to be the stone of the year happens to be a color that is very trending right now. It's your whites and your neutrals. But certainly, I mean, all the designers will tell you this, you better start looking at some of the colors because some of the colors are coming back. If you had told me that some of the pinks from the 1980s were coming back, they are. And so pay attention to design trends, pay attention to the advice your interior designers and your kitchen and bath dealers are giving you. But remember, at the end of the day, when you're selecting a stone, select a stone that best fits your personality. For me, it's a stone from South Dakota, because when I look at that every day, I think about the area of the country that I grew up in. It brings back memories of my childhood. It's special to me. And the beautiful thing, when you walk into one of our members' showrooms and you look at all the beautiful options, the hard part is you're probably going to fall in love with more than one type of stone, and you got to pick one. You got to pick one.
That's the hardest part.
Absolutely.
So where are your next trips coming? Do you have any coming up like this summer, this fall?
Yep. So I will be in Toronto next month and running the Industry Trade Association. You know, it's not just about serving our members with services, but the other business that we're in is helping our members be recognized. So we have a variety of awards programs to recognize outstanding projects, outstanding individuals, outstanding companies. But we don't just do it for the stone industry. We also have what we call the Tucker Design Awards. And those are awards that are given to architects and designers. And so in Toronto, this summer, we're going to be recognizing 8 amazing award-winning projects. And then we also have what's called the Bybee Prize. And that is the premier Lifetime Achievement Award given to designers for their commitment to the natural stone industry. So that's a little bit of hint of some of the other things we do. We help recognize outstanding stone companies, but we also want to give a lot of credit to the architects and designers that do so much for our companies. And, you know, they're the ones that are coaching their clients through why to select natural stone. And when you see natural stone in a finished, I mean, it's one thing to see the slabs. It's another thing to see it being fabricated, but to see it then installed on a building or in a home, that's the part where I talked about our industry is about helping people's dreams come true.
Yeah. Well, if somebody were interested, if they wanted to go with natural stone, but they were a little on the fence still, they weren't, there's a lot of different options out there. What would you tell them? What would like your quick response be where you won't regret it? Go natural stone. You
know what? If they're on the fence, we want them to do their research. We want them to do discovery. So I want to throw out there that you can obviously come to our website, which is naturalstoneinstitute.org. But we have a dedicated website for consumers, for members of the design community, and it's called usenaturalstone.org. And there they will find hundreds of articles to help inspire, to help talk about the design. If they have questions about what's the difference between quartz and quartzite, and they're maybe a little shy or a little afraid, you know, we want them learning that from industry experts. And so usenaturalstone.org is filled with articles to inspire, articles that help them look at different designs. There's color trend articles, there's compare and contrast articles. So go to usenaturalstone.org.
Well, Jim, it's been an honor to have you here at Armina Stone. You got to come back soon. Football season's right around the corner.
We're not going to talk football season, but I will tell you it's only 2 hours away. I've already been invited back, and we will be back. And you know,
I'm coming to you next time.
You can come.
We'll do the podcast on the road.
We can do it from my office in little old Oberlin, Ohio. But no, it's a pleasure to be here, and I just think, you know, for those that might be listening that are in the stone industry, if you're not a member of the Natural Stone Institute, please look at it. Please consider it, because, you know, membership in a trade association, and it doesn't matter what industry you're in. Yes, it is about getting a return on that investment, but let's also remember, when you join a trade association, it's an opportunity for you to give back to the industry that's been so good to you. So when you look at the annual membership fees or opportunities to get involved, you know, I want to encourage every stone company that might be viewing this video or any others that this company produces, please consider joining the Natural Stone Institute. And if you're a member of the design community, you know, be looking at the resources we have available for you as well.
Yeah. Oh, well, I think you can't lose. If you join, you just get the continued education, you get the networking, you get everything that you would really need. If you look at the future,
you're going to get what you put into it. But even if you don't put anything into it and you say, you know what, it's worth it enough to me to give back to the industry, thank you for that investment.
Yep. Oh, well, Jim, thank you so much. And, before we sing, because everybody knows we sing.
I heard about this jingle thing.
You're going to be great. I heard you practicing. I asked you before, I said, I want to make sure because pronouncing names is always something that I never want to mispronounce a name. I think that's very important. And you told me a cool trick, and maybe it's an obvious trick, but I didn't know that because your name is spelled like H-I-E-B, but you pronounce it Hebe. Why?
So the trick is, Hebe is a German name.
Yep.
And when you have two vowels that are side by side, for most German names, the first vowel will be silent. The second vowel will be long. So the I is silent. So it's Hebe. But now if somebody slips and says Hybe, I'm still going to answer because I know and so forth. So, but no, that's the trick of the trade.
Maybe everybody knew that except me, but I learned something new from you today, Jim. Many things. All right. It's time to go.
It's time to sing.
We got to sing. So I'll count us down.
Are you going to do it first?
No, we do it together.
We get to do it together.
Yeah.
Okay,
Unless you want to solo, Jim.
No, but I'm going to do the chorus afterwards that we talked about.
Okay. I'm going to chime in with that as well. Okay. Here we go, everybody.
All right.
3, 2, 1. Ooh, Armenia Stone.
Cha-cha-cha.
Cha-cha-cha. Jim Hebe. Thanks so much for coming on today.
Appreciate it. Thanks.